Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to wearefree.tv, the channel that brings you different people from around the world talking about amazing subjects such as the fifth dimension and the rising of the frequency and channelings and aliens and ETs and different modalities for curing different conditions, medical conditions and emotional conditions, and all kinds of alternative medicines and way of living and economy, the new economy and the new world to which the humans are rising and creating with our own consciousness, and many other similar subjects. This is what you can hear on this channel. If you wish to be interviewed yourself, then please feel free to contact me on nocensorshiptv@gmail.com, and of course please do join our Telegram group, which is wearefree.tv on Telegram, and that's where I upload a link to every new video and interview as and when they are published. And of course I would very much appreciate if you can share this interview with all your friends and family so that they can also enjoy the amazing information coming your way today. And today my guest is once again, I believe the third time, Soma Arah, and she is the author of The Pleiadian Child, available on Amazon. The name of our interview is Channeling the Pleiadians, and we are going to be talking about reincarnation, the soul, dimensions, the war in Ukraine, reality, ETs, and many more interesting subjects. So hello there, Soma Arah. How are you today?
Hello, Michael. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Yes,
I love connecting with you.
Amazing. Same here. So today we've prepared questions, and you are going to channel our dear friends, the Pleiadians, and you might channel them, you might not channel them. Perhaps for people who don't know who you are, you could just tell us in a few words, how did you come to do what you do? I mean, what's the history? How did you become a channeler? And why the Pleiadians?
That's a great question. That's a long, but basically, very simply, through trauma. I had a very extremely traumatic childhood, and that gave me the benefit of leaving my body and connecting to the Pleiadians. So it was very cathartic because on one hand it was very traumatic, but on the other hand, the trauma brought this great awakening process for me, and the ability to channel the Pleiadians, which for me was through trauma at a very young age, and it was again and again and again. So I've never had normal. I've always had a very kind of out there experiences and process and awakening, and the whole thing with channeling and being connected. I was always connected to spirit as a child, and I think that's what really saved me in a way. And my heart really goes out to children or even adults that are being abused or have been abused, because the majority of them don't have spirit in the way that I did. I was very connected from a very young age to trees, to nature, to fairies, to elementals, to everything around me in different dimensions, in different realities, fairies and the like.
I see, okay.
And I would often come over in the summer for the school holidays to Ireland.
Okay, and how did that influence your abilities to channel?
Well, because I started off very young. I started off at a very young age, being connected to spirit, being connected to fairies and nature spirits and trees and spirit and my own granddad, and that allowed me to have a very strong foundation and spiritual experiences from a very young age. So when I eventually came to consciously channel the Pleiadians, for me it wasn't it wasn't like they were up there somewhere and I was down here. It was, they were with me, they were behind me, and it was very much like channeling spirit. I didn't see much of a difference in their energy at the time when I began to channel them.
I see. But I never understand that stuff. I always speak to channelers and they explain it as if it's so obvious and, it's just, this is how it works. And I'm like, I have nothing similar to that in my life. I don't even know what an energy is, and I don't know how you even feel an energy. And definitely, I never heard voices, of other beings, and I don't understand it. But it's amazing that people like you exist, so people like me could be amazed by you.
I can talk you through a very easy technique.
Okay.
A very simple technique. So you get your hands and you place them opposite each other at a distance. And if you want to, you can close your eyes. And for the audience as well, the audience can do this. So a very basic, simple way of feeling energy is to have your hands probably about hand width apart, and move them closer and very slowly move them closer and then apart. And if you do it with your eyes closed, that allows you to tune out tune out any kind of mental noise. So you just have them and you just move them very slowly, and you allow you allow yourself to feel the energy.
Okay, I do feel something here in the palms, maybe a bit of maybe slight heat. There's something there, but maybe it's just me making it up and all that. So that's the energy, yeah? Moving between my hands?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Well, it's not even moving, it's just that you're allowing yourself to feel it. Well, I guess it would be moving because you're moving your hands, but it's your energy always moves with you because you're in it. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So how about if we ask you the questions that we wanted to ask the Pleiadians, and if they come through, great. If not, then I'm sure you know the answers yourself. So the first question I'd like to ask you is, how does reincarnation work?
Okay, well, I do feel the Pleiadians around me. I'm not sure if I'll be able to channel in the way that I'd like to, but with reincarnation, we are genetically created and engineered. So there is that's a complex subject, but there is like a kind of starting point before we existed. So if you I mean, that is a big question, but with reincarnation, there's other aspects at play as well, but we do have past lives. We have many past lives, thousands of them, that go way back to day dot where we came into existence, although we always existed on some level, on a higher frequency. We always existed. We are the Pleiadians, we are the Syrians, we are the Lyrans or the Lyrians, we are the Star Nations, we are the aliens. And there is past lives, there is reincarnation, but there's more than reincarnation just going on. There's other aspects that are connected to reincarnation, because our soul it multiplies. It multiplies and multiplies and multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. So it's always, consciousness is always seeking to expand itself. Consciousness is always seeking to expand itself. So therefore, we are always multiplying, we are always developing, we are always evolving. And it's never ending. It's never ending until it does. And then there is what we call a big bang, and things explode or implode, and then there's an ending period and a rebirthing period into new beginnings, new universes, new earths, new evolution. That the universe is a living, breathing cosmic energy that is always expanding. So and then you've got the aspect of the timelines and different dimensions, because our soul multiplies or divides. I don't like using the word divide because it really multiplies. Our soul multiplies into, so for example, my grandfather has now reincarnated into a new being, into a new person. But with the, sorry, I lost track there. But we were talking earlier about the different dimensions, but also the timelines and some of our different selves, because our soul we've kind of fractured off into different timelines and different Michaels and different Somas, where and sometimes we do experience that. We have experiences where, a lot of us have experiences where we get to witness or have a sensation or an experience where we get to get a glimpse of our different selves. And there's good ones, there's bad ones, there's horrific ones, there's beautiful ones, there's ugly ones, and I'm talking about energy, I'm not talking about physicality. So there's all aspects of ourselves, which is actually kind of, because that's in place, that has allowed us to speed up our evolution, because we are having multiple experiences on different timelines and in different dimensions. Because that's in place, that allows us to speed our evolution has speeded up because of that. Because if it was just one, it would take longer to evolve. But because there's multiple, there's multiple energies of us, or soul. Our soul is kind of fractured. It allows us to evolve at an increasing rate, which is what's happening now. We are evolving. Like lightning speed.
Yes. Okay. So again, I can't say I really understood everything you said, because I don't really understand these things, and I can't. It's like trying to explain an inexplicable thing, or something that with the human mind, in the 3 dimension with the linear time to understand all this. It's just ridiculous. It's just impossible, at least for me. But other people do get it. Now, about the soul, is the soul a unique, separate entity in itself? Even after death, and does it remain unique forever? Okay, like my soul is my soul, and it keeps reincarnating, and it's a separate soul, and it doesn't merge into another soul. It's just a separate soul, and your soul is your soul now and after death. And if that's the case, then at some point, is the soul absorbed into something larger and loses its uniqueness and its experience and history, like a drop. If a drop in the sea is absorbed into the whole sea, and it's no longer a drop once it hits the surface of the sea. So what about the soul? Does it ever lose?
That's a lot of questions. Where do you want me to start?
It's to do with the uniqueness. Is a soul a unique thing forever? Let's put it this way.
In very simple terms, yes. The soul is a unique thing. And like branches on a tree, each one is individual, or like fingers on a hand, each one is individual, but they are part of your higher soul. They are part of your group soul. They are part of star nations or alien beings in a positive or negative way, depending on where you're at in your frequency. And I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about other people as well. But so the soul essence is the soul is it's on the physical, but it's also other levels of it are on higher dimensions. So there's a soul aspect of you here. Then you've got timelines and different soul aspects or soul parts of you. And then you also have higher dimensions where your soul is also in existence as well. So there's multiple yous in different places within the universe. There's also Michael's probably on different planets.
I don't understand that. I don't understand. How can there be another Michael on another planet? And if so, why do I feel that I'm here? I mean, does he feel he's there? And if he feels he's there and I feel I'm here, how can I be him?
Because we've lost our memories. And perhaps we never had them in that sense. But we've become disconnected from our souls, from ourselves, from our true nature, from our Buddha nature. We've become disconnected. We've been dumbed down and manipulated through technology and through mind control and through programming to believe that we are very limited, when actually our soul is vast. And it is connected to other planets and star systems and suns and moons and planets and stars. And it is connected to different timelines, and it is connected to source energy, and it is connected to different frequency, and it is awake, aware, and conscious. But we have forgotten. It's like
and we are the souls. we as in the souls forgot, or we the ego or the awareness or the consciousness? I mean, what is the difference between consciousness, awareness, and the soul, if at all?
You are a soul that is aware and conscious. And you are consciousness. You are a soul that is aware and conscious, that has consciousness. I don't know if that really explains things.
No. What about dimensions then? Can we jump between them?
We can jump between timelines, and we can step into different dimensions. And we do step into different dimensions when we are asleep. Asleep at night, we often go into the astral plane, which is a different dimension. We can also access some of those dimensions in meditation, or when we're in trance, or when we're channeling, or when we're doing any type of healing as well.
So what is a dimension then?
It's a higher frequency, it's a higher energy, it's a higher space. It's if you imagine a building with different levels, and the earth would be at a lower level. And then as you go up the lift, you've got different levels. That is how I understand dimensions to be. But then you've also got okay, so here's a good example for you. If you imagine a tree trunk, and you are the tree trunk, and you're a big, solid, physical, 3D reality soul in your body, and then you've got all these branches going out, hundreds of them, and they would be different timelines, different dimensions, different aspects of yourself. They would be reincarnation. They would be all different, all of those things that you mentioned just now. But they are all part of you.
Yes. Okay. And in terms of timelines, you know how they say that you create your own reality, and we are able to if I was to, because now I have an infection in my tooth. Yeah, my tooth is infected, but there are timelines in which everything is the same like this, only I don't have an infection. So if I could really believe that I can jump into the dimension where Michael Bloom does not have an infection, then I could do it. And then it won't cure it. I'll just be in another dimension where I never had it. So what? I mean, it's such a mind bend. I can't get it.
I would say that all the experiences are perfect. All the experiences are perfect, from a painful tooth to extreme trauma to all of the different levels of pain. Everything is you have contracted yourself in to do everything in this lifetime that you're doing and experience, and that includes the small stuff like the painful tooth, or the stumped toe, or losing a foot, or being abused, or trauma. Everything is perfect, and that also includes the negative agenda at the moment, because I'm veering off subject a little bit here, but
that's the next subject I was going to ask you about, the world, and how is the new world going to be different to the old world. So yeah, please go in that direction. So
thank you, Michael. Thank you, because I really wanted to get into that.
Yes.
Right. So we are an evolutionary leap. Humanity is making huge leaps and bounds in its evolution, and it has speeded up, which is also to do with timelines and reincarnation that they were saying before, or I was saying. So we are in a great evolutionary period at the moment that is not contained to Earth. It is far-reaching. It affects the whole universe, the whole cosmos, the stars, the planets, the galaxies, the suns, the moons. It affects everything on an evolutionary state. So we are not separate from anything in the universe. So as we evolve, the whole universe is evolving at the same time. Everything is shifting up a frequency, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So, and there's been a great war going on for generations, for eons of time, since we were first created in their likeness. There have been many experiments, or there have been several different alien races, or ET races, or star nations, or whatever you want to call them, both positive and negative, that have created beings in their own likeness, and sometimes not in their own likeness at all. We are genetically engineered. We are genetically created. So they have created everything. They've created the good, the bad, the ugly, the sinful, the angels and the demons. And we are, and there have been mistakes made. Mistakes have been made. And we are at war. There is a spiritual war going on. But the evolutionary period we are in now, that is to do with the war between light and dark, or the ET war of the worlds, as they call it to me. So there is a benefit from what's happening with the negative agenda, because they have allowed us on a mass scale to wake up. There's been thousands of people, if not millions of people, that have woken up over the last 2, 3, 4 years. So, and I can really understand that, especially with the trauma I had as a child, because it was through the trauma that I got to wake up. I got to be on a channel for the Pleiadians and all the experiences and everything. So I can really, it looks like a mirror to me sometimes when I see my experiences and how the trauma allowed me such a beautiful gift. And it's very clear to me how the negative agenda is also actually a beautiful gift to humanity, because it is allowing the vast majority of people who were asleep to wake up. They are allowing us to evolve, because they have put our backs against a wall or a canyon to such a degree where they have squeezed us so tightly that, like an orange, that the juice is just breaking free. So humanity is awakening. We are actually turning into new humans. We are turning into crystalline beings. We are turning into illumined beings. We are evolving. We are not just our bodies.
What's that crystalline business? What does that mean, that we're turning from carbon-based to crystalline?
Our bodies are evolving. Our hair, our skin, we are stepping into the crystalline is about stepping into a new earth, a new dimension, a new awareness where we are evolving into a new reality. And the two will divide. They cannot, it's like oil and water, they cannot mix, they cannot blend, they cannot speak the same language because they are on different frequencies. They cannot, people, the different frequencies. If someone is over here on this frequency, imagine a radio, and then someone's over here on this frequency, they're talking different languages. That is why people don't understand the vast majority of truthers, because they're over here. And it's not about higher or lower or good or bad. It's just a different frequency. They just don't understand because they are talking a different language. They're talking a different frequency.
So what's going to happen in the future? Where will they live?
Force them to be on it.
Yeah. So will they live in different places? I mean, the truthers are going to have their own colonies and communities.
Yeah, I think the two will just simply divide, like a soul simply divide.
Okay. So it's not like the Earth is splitting. Sorry, it is splitting, but it's not like there are going to be two Earths and one will have these people and the other people. It's going to be the same Earth, and they're both going to live on the same Earth. Only they will be separate from each other.
Well, I've heard other people say that. What I've been shown is that, I think it was 2 years ago now, is that I was doing a channeling one day just at home with the Pleiadians, and they showed me very clearly that there were, at the time, there were two immensely intense beams of light hitting the Earth, and they would increase and intensify until the point the Earth could no longer withstand the energy being beamed at it, and it would actually cause the Earth on an energetic level to twist and multiply into two Earths, and one would go into a higher frequency, a higher dimension, a higher awareness, and the other one would stay where it is, or it would drop into an even lower frequency. So that would be a splitting of dimensions or a splitting of timelines, where the spirit is around us all the time. But
where will they go? Where will the people physically go? I mean, let's say my neighbor is not a truther and I am a truther, and when the split happens, he's just going to die, or he's going to vanish one day, or I'm going to vanish from his reality, or what?
I think that the two will just simply pull apart, and our awareness will be much higher. Our frequency will be much higher, so we will be aware of the lower frequencies, but the lower frequencies will not be aware of the higher frequencies.
Okay. Because?
So let me give this example. So spirit is around us all the time, but they're in a different dimension. So the vast majority of people are not aware of spirit. Then they're not. But when you step into a higher frequency, a higher awareness, a higher space, you become aware of spirit around you. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good example, I must say. Great. Now, can you describe the Earth, the better Earth of the awakened ones? How is it going to be different? Our lives, our daily lives, how will they be different to the lives we have today in the third dimension and what we have to go through?
That is such a beautiful space. I can see it, I can feel it, I sense it, I can smell it. It's a higher frequency. It's a new Earth. It's evolution. It doesn't contain lower frequencies. It doesn't contain negative technology. It doesn't contain mind control. It doesn't contain programming. It doesn't contain manipulation. It doesn't contain being dumbed down. any of those things. It's a higher frequency. We're going back to a time of Atlantis, and we're not even doing that. We're going above and beyond and back to a time of the Atlantis that we could have had. We made mistakes in Atlantis, and I do believe I was there, and I do believe I possibly made some big mistakes as well.
Such as?
A lot of us would have been manipulated into misusing our energy. A lot of us would have been manipulated into misusing our energy, and I think I was probably one of those people.
Uh-huh.
I haven't seen it. I've always been aware that I was in Atlantis, even from a young age, but I haven't been. I've still more to learn, more to understand, more to see about myself. I'm still discovering myself.
Yeah. So the new world is going to be the Atlantis that Atlantis was never reached. We are going to reach that level, which means we are going to live in bliss and in harmony and in ecstasy all day long.
Yes, the blissful states of awareness is where we're going. Being able to manifest, living in love, living in light, without fear, without control. There will be such a divide that we will have real freedom. And that brings great awareness of consciousness. It allows consciousness, when it has freedom, to expand at a lightning speed of consciousness. And we are in that process now. We're in that already. That process began a few years ago of the new earth. So many of us are having experiences. Thousands of us around the world are having experiences of kundalini, of psychic awakening, of mediumship, of spiritual experiences, of the astral plane, of being in two different places at once, of all the whole list of things that we're taught is not true. But there's something else I want to touch on there, Michael, because we are going beyond Atlantis. We are going into 13 strands of DNA, not 12, and even possibly beyond that. We are going into Christ consciousness. We are going into a new dimension. We are creating heaven on earth without any of the negative agenda. The negative agenda will simply fall away, because you've got this energy over here cannot reach this energy over here, because this energy is on such a high frequency. They're moving. It's two different earths. They're moving in two different dimensions, two different realities. So I don't know how it will play out physically, if we're going to suddenly wake up one day and not remember our neighbors, or they've simply disappeared. I don't know how that's going to play out on a physical 3D reality. I just know and understand the bigger picture.
And this is the fifth dimension everybody's talking about?
A fifth and higher. Yeah, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth.
And it's going to happen in my lifetime?
Yeah, it's happening now, baby.
So in my lifetime, my body will no longer be carbon-based. It will be crystalline. And I will be in the fifth dimension.
That is a process that will take a time to. So I don't know if you're going to. I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime where we turn into crystalline. I don't know the answer to that, but I know that we're in the process of it.
I see. Okay. No rush. No rush. We have eternity. Well.
So, let me just say, Michael, that our hair is changing, our skin, our teeth, our blood, our DNA.
Yeah, it's becoming grey, as you can see. Our teeth, are infected. Grey and with infected teeth. That's a really good change. Actually, the grey hair is good because it makes me look wiser, and if I know what I'm talking about, although I don't. So that's a good thing.
You look like Richard Gere.
Really? Wow. Thank you very much. So all this change of hair and teeth, is it in a good way? Because obviously you didn't mean infection and grey. So what did you mean?
It's, we are, our bodies are evolving. I don't believe that we came from monkeys at all. But science would tell us that we changed and we evolved and we came from monkeys. So this is, and I don't buy into that at all. I don't believe that for 1 second. Nothing about my experiences tells me that is true. But we are evolving. We are turning into new humans, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but I know that the process has already started.
Okay.
And people are experiencing that.
Fine. That's I agree. That's great. So what about, people talk about like there's going to be a sudden dramatic exposure in the mainstream media of the crimes committed by the rulers, by the cabal, and there's going to be 3 days of darkness where they're going to broadcast all the atrocities that they did, and the children in the adrenochrome and the children in the tunnels, and they're going to just expose everything, and that's really going to mass awake everyone that's still asleep. Is that true?
Well, I don't watch I don't have a TV, so I don't watch the TV. I just need to plug my battery in. Can you give me 1 second? Okay, it's plugged in now. So where were we? What was the question?
The question was about is there going to be a sudden revelation on TV of the crimes committed against humans by the rulers?
Well, I think that's been happening for a long time. I think we've been drip fed the truth, and the truth is out there if you look into the alternative media. At the moment, the media is a hugely owned and ruled by the negative agenda, who don't want us to know any truth at all. So the truth sometimes is drip fed, but it's to do with Kundalini. If you wake someone up too quickly, it can cause them more harm than good. So it's not necessarily a good thing that we have this massive global event that would wake up everyone instantly, because it's like putting a spark into a plug, or a plug sparking and frazzling. That can happen energetically to people, and it does often through use of drugs, where people have in a good way and a negative way, where people have Kundalini awakenings, and their bodies cannot contain or withstand that amount of energy. So
I've had that. Lucky me.
Have you?
Many times on ayahuasca and on LSD and on mushrooms. Wow, these were some very powerful experiences that I was like you said, I felt I was like turning into light, and it was like too much. I just couldn't contain it. But here I am to tell the story. It didn't kill me.
Yeah, it didn't kill you.
Maybe I am dead.
Although it may
I could
have
be
felt
dead.
like it at the time.
Speaking of death, I heard that some people, when we die, we don't even know we die. That you can just step into another dimension, continue living, not even knowing that you died. Interesting. So,
yeah, sometimes it can take a while for a soul to, yeah.
Okay, but back to what we were saying. So
there was something you mentioned there, Michael, that I'd like to.
Yeah. What was that? What did I mention? I mentioned.
You were talking about the media and a big event happening, and I think there have been big events, huge events happening, and I think the media is going to eventually fall, because all systems on Earth at the moment need to fall, disintegrate, because they are all owned by negative agenda, negative alien beings. or reptilians, or the Cabal, or the Illuminati, which to me is all the same thing. It's negative ET energy at every level on Earth.
Okay, but
and all of that tumbling. But one thing I wanted to mention, Michael, was that I do think there's going to be a fake landing, and I do think there's going to be a real landing of spacecraft. So we have to be very cautious, or awake and aware, or to be able to know which is which, to decipher which is which.
How will we know how to do that?
I think we have to do it through how it makes us feel, and really step into the heart, because the negative agenda it has its own agenda, and the same with the white hats and the light and the positive beings that are assisting us. So I'd be a negative or craft, or I don't think it's even a craft. It is a craft, but I do believe there's going to be an actual landing, and maybe even more than one. And we're going to have to be very discerning about which is which.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll wait and see. Now, they say that the forces of light... Yes? Yeah, I understand. You know how they say about that the forces of light have already won, and they've already chased off the bad forces, and now we're just seeing the leftovers of the evil rulers. But it's all already won. It's been won by the light. What does that mean?
It tells us that time is not linear. Time is circular, and it's already happened. The past, present, and future is all happening now. It's all happening now. All of it.
Yeah. That's another thing I can't understand.
There is no past.
That all incarnations are happening at once, they say, and there's no future and there's no past, and it's all happening in parallel. I don't get it. I'm a simple human.
I think you're much more than that.
Caged in my head, in my own mind, in my ego. Okay, that's clear. Now, what about Ukraine? What can you say about the war in Ukraine? How much worse is it going to get? And will there be more wars?
I think the media is... Yeah. I think the media disillusions us. I think the media is a huge giant, a very ugly beast, and it shows us huge abominations that aren't even true. I think Putin is a good guy. I think that I'm on the fence with Trump at the moment, but I know he was good. I know he was a light hat, and I know that Putin was working with him. I think Putin is a good guy. I think the media is lying to us on a mass scale, like never before. We are being hook, line, and sinkered, as they say in the UK. We are being deceived on a mass scale, and if they're showing us a story about Russia, we need to look at other stories that aren't in the media, that they're trying to cover up, because they make us look over here when we need to be looking over here.
Can you be more specific when you say Putin is a good guy? What do you mean? In what way is he good, and why? And how are they presenting him? How are they managing to present him as bad if he's actually good?
You froze there, Michael.
I'm saying, when you say Putin is good, can you give?
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? I can hear you loud and clear. And I'm about to ask you about Putin being a good guy. So, can you explain to me why Putin is a good guy? In what way is Putin a good guy?
I would say that Putin is awake, aware, and conscious. And I would say that he's that he's an enlightened being. I would say that he's not from here. I would say that he is a white hat. I would say that he's working with a very high positive technology, very advanced technology. I would say that he's here to clean up base camp. I would say he was here to drain the swamp. I would say that he was here with a mission, with a purpose. And I would say that the negative agenda is hugely targeting him because of the high level of work that he's trying to do or is doing with his team, with his people. I would say that he is someone with a very high frequency who is not explaining or showing the true reality of what is going on. I would say he's not from Earth. I would say he was a beautiful soul. I would say he was angelic. I would say that he's Pleiadian. I would say that he's working with light beings. I would say that he's working with positive star nations, ET energy, like Syrian, and definitely Pleiadian. And I know that. And I can't even say how I know, but I do know that he's a good guy.
Amazing. So somebody else watching this now who watches the news would say, well, how dare you say such a thing? If he's so good, why is he killing the poor Ukrainians? So what, is that a good thing to kill people? And what's he trying to achieve by killing them?
It's never a good thing to kill people in the way that the media are portraying it. But the media is lying to us. Wake up, people. Wake up. The media is lying to us. We are being shown things that are not true at all. And maybe some of them are, but they are being shown in a way that is escalated and way off scale. So perhaps atrocities are occurring. I don't know, because I'm not there on the ground. But I have heard, and I don't watch TV. I don't have a TV. So, but I have heard that people in Ukraine are not recording anything on their phones. Now, I don't know if that's true. I believe it's probably true. Because I've heard some people say it that I trust, that are very awake and aware, but it could also be that people are now recording things on their phone. But we've had a fake moon landing. We've had all kinds of fake things on the media. So who knows? I think only the people in Ukraine that are on the ground will know what's actually going on.
Yeah.
And people need to wake up, and the media is... the enemy is the wrong word, because they are helping us to wake up and evolve. But the governments are do not have our best interests at heart.
Yeah.
The media, the royal families, none of the people in power, working, they don't have our best interests at heart.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the corona and the vaccines, what can you say about that?
Oh, okay. So corona and vaccines, well, yeah, don't stick needles into yourself. That's what I would say. Don't inject yourself with something that you know absolutely nothing about. I'm certainly not going to be doing that anytime soon.
Seems like many people who have done it, are not going to do it.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done to them. Yeah. And one thing I have seen a lot of is the footballers and sports personalities dropping dead.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting.
But how's that to do? How does that tie in? How does that tie in with the general agenda?
Things they're injecting and taking.
Yes. Okay. So how does the corona tie in with the general agenda? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? Like the war in Ukraine or the bad Putin is actually a good guy. So maybe the coronavirus, which wasn't really a pandemic, maybe it's actually a good thing, and even the vaccinations are a good thing on the larger scale.
I would say on a larger scale, trauma allows us, for me individually, and on the collective, wake up. it creates a DMT in the brain, consciousness on a more kind of level where it's because of the negative agenda. We get to evolve because of the negative agenda, because of the atrocities. Maybe it isn't Putin at all that is killing people. Yeah. Maybe it's the Ukraine.
Who knows? Who knows what's going on? Okay, you know, people talk about I keep hearing about these frequencies, you know, like the Pleiadians are saying, well, we're going to send you this frequency on the 15th of the month. You're going to get this new frequency, which we're sending you. And you also hear about these solar flares that are and eruptions on the sun that of energies that bring codes and transformations to Earth. What on earth is that?
That is the cosmic universe evolving.
Okay.
Earth is evolving. Earth is a living, breathing being. Mother Earth is alive.
Yes, but that's coming from outer space, these frequencies.
That in nature. When into neural. You're breaking up, my friend.
Yeah, I know. You're breaking up as well.
You're breaking up?
You too.
Okay.
So now you're back. So what are these frequencies that come from outer space and from the sun? How are they making the Earth evolve?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
But I know about consciousness. I know about evolution. I know about energy. I know about frequency. I know the process about humanity waking up and evolving. And I know that it's not contained to Earth. So therefore, it's also the whole universe. It's the sun, it's the stars, it's the moons, it's the galaxies, it's the universes, it's everything. Yeah. So in my understanding, like, I don't know everything. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still getting to know myself more. But the frequencies with the sun, I would say that the sun is evolving. Perhaps it's being manipulated in a negative way. I don't know. But it's through the trauma that we get to awaken. So even if it's a negative thing,
fair enough.
In the end, we've won.
I understand. What about the world? Do you know if the world is flat or a sphere?
I believe that the world is round. I don't believe the world is flat. And maybe I'm wrong. You know, I don't have enough ego to insist that I'm right with everything, but I could be wrong. You know, and if I am, that's fine. I'm about truth.
Okay.
So if I'm wrong,
you don't know, you don't know. So one day we'll know. What about the creating our own reality? They say we create our own reality. We kind of spoke about it, but you want to say something else? To add something about how we create our own reality?
Reality is to do has different aspects. One of the things is frequency. If you're on a low frequency, you're going to create a low reality. If you're on a high frequency, you're going to create a higher reality, more abundance, more laughter, more joy, more everything, more love, more light, more everything. So it's all about frequency. It's all about frequency.
Okay, so be happy. Be happy.
Be happy, be love, be joy, find laughter, be grateful, step into love. It's all about frequency. It's all about stepping into love, stepping into our heart space for whatever little things we have. We don't all have big mansions. I certainly don't. It's about being grateful. It's all about energy. It's all about frequency.
Yeah.
Everything.
Okay. So what do you suggest each one of us does in order to get through the coming period in a good, successful way?
Well, I'm so glad you asked me that. I think laughter is actually something that I've seen very recently that is a way that we get to, on a very physical 3D level, get to avoid or come away from some of the lower energies going on Earth at the moment. Laughter. So it's not about the higher stuff, because I tend to go right to some of the higher. I tend to go way out there into some of the higher dimensions and awareness. But for the majority of people, I would say laughter is the key to creating a higher frequency, to coming away from being dumbed down, coming away from programming, coming away from manipulation, mind control, and all of those negative agendas and frequencies, because we are targeted with negative technology and negative frequency.
I see. Okay, well, that's good. Laugh. Get comedies and laugh.
Yeah, a real belly laugh. Find laughter every day. 2, 3, 4, 5 times, 6, 7, 20 times a day. Find laughter. Laugh, because it raises your frequency. It lightens your energy. It like bubbles dispersing in water. When you laugh, you shake off the negative dispersers like bubbles in your auric field. I
see. Okay, good tip there. Now about ETs, what kind of ETs live among us? And can you give us a few examples of their agendas in relation to humans? Like these ETs live among us and they want to do this to us. And these ETs, they do this and they want to do that. Just generally.
Wow. Well, all of it. There's good, there's bad, there's angelic, there is demonic. They do live on Earth. They do walk amongst us. They do live in tunnels. There's many different species that live amongst Earth, on Earth, amongst us, and in different dimensions, above and below. So you've got the higher and you've got the lower. You've got the positive and the negative. So we are living you could say that we are living in a multi-dimensional Earth. There's different levels to Earth. You've got the tunnels underground. You've got places like Area 51 that would have negative alien beings. You've also got tunnels or spaces where light beings live beneath the earth. You've got craft entering the water. You've got craft entering mountains. So they're not just amongst us on Earth, walking amongst us. And yes, they do walk amongst us as human. Some of them look human. And I would say that about Putin, and I would have said that about Trump a couple of years ago.
What changed? What changed in respect of Trump?
When he went into hospital and he came out, he looked different. His energy was different. For me, it wasn't the same Trump. Something changed. I think that it's possible, and I could be wrong, but I think it's possible he was taken out, or a double of his was taken out, or he has a double, or something is not right there with Trump. And maybe it's been reverted again. I don't know, but I'm on the fence with Trump at the moment. But when he came out of hospital, he was different.
I see. Okay, so I'd like to ask you about light beings. What exactly are light beings?
Angels are light beings. Pleiadians are light beings. Any light being is an energy or a soul that is not from Earth. It's a light being. It doesn't have a physical body, or doesn't need a physical body, because some of them do have physical bodies. But a light being is an angel, or a Pleiadian, or a Lyran, or a different ET.
I see. Okay, interesting. Now that's it. These are all the questions, and I'm curious to know: did you channel at all today?
Not really. No, not really. I felt that energy around, and I feel like I'm always channeling. But I feel that sometimes it's very hard to explain it. I feel like I'm actually the best way. Thank you. The best way they're just telling me actually how to say it. Sometimes I'm in a trance state and I'm channeling, and I can feel it, and other people can feel it. And sometimes I'm not in a trance state, but I'm still channeling.
Mm-hmm. Because they just told you something, so you kind of channeled there.
Yeah, it was channeling. It's just I wasn't trance channeling.
Yeah.
There's a difference. There's a big
Yeah,
difference.
yeah.
And,
Okay.
and I feel that in my energy, because my energy feels very different when I'm in a trance. I'm in a trance, and when I'm not, but I'm always channeling.
Yes, and when you're in a trance, do you know what is being said? Like at the end of the channeling, do you remember everything, or do you not remember anything, and you need to see a recording of it? You don't remember.
I normally remember little bits. I don't remember everything, and I normally have to watch it back. I don't always watch it back, but if it's a good interview, or if it's a good channel, then I will watch it back. I watch all yours back.
So maybe next time you could, yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to, Michael. I'd love to. And the same with the readings. I go into a trance when I'm reading for people, which I love doing that. And sometimes I go into a very high trance where they actually the Pleiadians step into me and use my voice, which I love doing. And that's a very high frequency for me, high vibration. So I love stepping into that. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Soma Arah, it was a pleasure speaking to you and hearing all the lovely information coming from you, whether it's channeling or not. It's still fascinating. And I'd like to say to you, thank you very much.
I love you, Michael. Thank you very much.
Excellent. I love you too, Soma, and we shall see you again in a few weeks, God willing. Good luck with everything. And to our lovely viewers, thank you for watching. What a lovely interview. We're going to have Soma Arah back on the show, hopefully with the Pleiadians or without the Pleiadians, with another list of questions. Her details are going to be shown under the interview, so you can contact her if you wish. Thank you for watching. We are free.tv.